Hello and thank you for watching this training video on PPI. Today we'll discuss what PPI is and why it matters to you as an HMIS user. PPI stands for Protected Personal Information, and it includes any client information that could identify that client to a third party. You may also hear PII, which stands for Personal Identifying Information. They mean basically the same thing, but HUD documentation uses PPI, so that's what MDHA will use as well. There are several different types of PPI, including client's first and last name, a social security number, or a first or last name in combination with any of the following: date of birth, zip code, project entry and exit dates, address, phone number, email address, certificate or license number, and full face photos. So when many of us think of a data breach, this is what we picture. However, it's important to understand that a data breach could happen with you on your computer anytime you access, use, or share client data. A data breach is technically defined as a loss of control, compromise, unauthorized disclosure, unauthorized acquisition, or access to PPI in physical or electronic form. As HMIS users, we use and share client data in several ways, including email, hard copy, US mail, websites and shared drives, and of course our accounts. Let's look at standards for each of these methods. When sending PPI via email, be sure to attach the PPI in a separate document. The PPI cannot be in the email body. This is so that you can password protect or otherwise encrypt the document that contains PPI. When you do so, be sure to send the password in a separate email or by phone to the person who's receiving it, so that anyone who gains access to your email does not have access to the PPI as well. Never send PPI to personal email accounts. Also in emails, avoid mentioning the PPI in the title. We don't want to announce that there's important information in this email. Finally, when replying all, be careful to consider who needs to hear the information. Maybe just one or two people on your team need the client's data instead of everyone. Hard copy. Lock the file cabinet or drawer where hard copies are kept, and ideally, lock the room where the file is kept as well. This ensures an extra safety measure for the hard copy data. When you need to dispose of hard copies, make sure to shred the documents that contain PPI. Never leave a document that contains PPI on a desk, printer, copier, or other public location unattended. Be sure to never throw a client's file directly in the trash. This is just leaving that information out for anyone to come by and look at it. Finally, with working from home becoming more common, be sure to never remove PPI from your designated work location. These locations have security measures in place, and we want to make sure that we maintain those security measures in every work environment. US mail. Seal all envelopes and containers that have PPI, and be sure to choose envelopes and containers that are opaque, meaning they cannot be seen through when a light is shown on them. You can track your mail using first class or priority US mail, or another traceable service like FedEx or UPS. Any way to trace where the mail is and when it's delivered keeps that PPI extra secure. Finally, be sure not to label the outside of envelopes or containers with words like sensitive or confidential. Again, we don't want to announce that there's private information inside. Websites. Only use shared access software and websites that can verify users or viewers of the information inside. This means that someone has to sign in or log in to view the information. If possible, use drives or networks that allow you to minimize access on a need-to-know basis. This means that only certain people on your team might be able to see a certain folder or document containing client PPI. It's important to never share PPI on social networking sites. Additionally, ensure that client PPI cannot be shared publicly by the software or sites that you use. Things like Google Docs can be shared to personal email addresses and have links that allow public viewing, so they are strictly prohibited. Finally, when submitting a Spiceworks help desk ticket to the HMIS team, be sure to exclude any client PPI that might be in your email or in your screenshots. And lastly, accounts. Ensure that your login and password are not accessible to others. That is important information that needs to be protected. When sending PPI, confirm the identity of the person who might be receiving it from you. Email phishing scams are very common, so you want to make sure that the email address of the person who is communicating with you is in fact the person who you intend to send the PPI to. Pay attention to your accounts and update your passwords if you see suspicious activity. ClientTrack also requires you to update your password often, so be prepared for that. Remember not to share your login or password information with anyone. This information is unique to you and must be kept private. Do not allow your browser, like Google Chrome, to autofill and save your passwords. This makes your account less secure. Finally, avoid repeating the same password on every site that you use, especially sites where you use the same email address to log in. Again, this makes your account much less secure than using a separate password for each account. Finally, remember that clients depend on you to manage their PPI with respect, and in ways that you would like to have your personal information managed. If you have questions or need assistance with this training topic, please go to mdhadallas.org and follow the steps on your screen to submit a service request to the HMIS team using the email address or portal URL listed for your agency in this document. Thank you for watching and for doing your part to help us end homelessness in Dallas and Collin counties.